It's time for lunch. We got Chef Kevin. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you. What are you making for us today? And you're going to get me going here in the kitchen.
Well, when I was asked to make a video, I was thinking about things that I really love to make.
Yeah.
And I really love to eat at home, especially for this season. And that for me is a roasted chicken.
Ooh.
But how do you know, everybody loves roasted chicken, or at least if you're not a vegetarian, everybody loves roasted chicken. How do you kind of elevate that without having to do too much work? What we're going to do that is actually make a dry brined roasted chicken. At its essence, a brine is generally speaking 2 parts salt to 1 part sugar.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is that's going to help season the chicken ahead of time.
Okay.
There's such a thing as a wet brine as well, but we're not going to do that today because you have to deal with submerging the chicken in water, chicken juice everywhere.
This seems much easier.
This is far easier, which is why I
Okay,
enjoy
so what's inside here?
We've got 2 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, hence the 2 to 1. We've got a ½ tablespoon of white pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, allspice, thyme, dried rosemary, sugar, cayenne, and a little secret ingredient, baking soda. I'm going to adjust my mask, but I'm going to take my gloves off because. But I want to make sure it's
Open
safe.
arms rule.
Gotta stay covered up.
Why are we using baking soda?
So baking soda is a little trick that I learned from Cooks Illustrated, just kind of cooking through the years, and it really, really works. What baking soda does, you're not going to actually taste that, but it actually lowers the temperature at which caramelization occurs. Why does that matter for chicken? It's because your breasts and the skin on the breasts and the legs is going to brown much more quickly, and you're going to not have to have the chicken in the oven as long to get the same darkness on the chicken.
You just want me to put this stuff on here?
Yes, rub it in nicely.
Okay.
Massage the chicken.
Massage the chicken.
Open
like
up
that.
Open up its legs. Yes.
Open up its legs.
Yes. Open up its legs.
All right.
Get in there.
PG-13. Open arms in
season-
Minnesota. Okay.
Exactly. Season on the inside. Get in all the crevices on the wings. You want every piece of that chicken.
How
nice.
much are we massaging this thing? And how much are we putting on here?
You know, this is generally speaking going to be enough for 2 chickens. The reason I make extra is because you're going to lose a lot on the tray too.
Oh,
so just
yeah, it's all over
go
the
wild.
place. Okay, go wild.
Yeah, just go wild. Keep doing it.
Okay.
And then
Tell me when it's too much, because I don't know if this is too much.
no, it's not. You're not going to do too
Am
much.
I going inside the chicken?
Yeah, so stand it up on its wings there, like that,
Like
and
that?
then season on the inside.
Season the inside of the
Yep.
chicken?
Yep. And the
Never
reason-
done this before. Never got this intimate with the chicken before.
Yeah, it's great. And you get
Only
the-
on YouTube. Only on the Open Arms YouTube.
That's right. So, and the reason we season the inside of the chicken is because you also have access to the meat on the inside, and that's going to help to season it more fully.
Oh, okay.
And so, yep, you're getting it on the backside as well. So that's actually looking great.
Oh my God, I did a great job.
I'll be right back.
Okay, you go do that. I'll just stay here with this chicken. We're gonna have a date. This recipe, by the way, is going to be on our website, openarmsmn.org. I did a good job.
This is perfect. This is amazing. So,
I'm smiling underneath this mask. This is exciting.
but now what we're going to do, as you can see, all this is kind of flailed out all over the place. If you were to bake this in its current form, it's all going to bake pretty unevenly.
Okay.
Now, I've seen some, it's tying up a chicken is called trussing it, and I've seen some pretty crazy ways to truss a chicken. I don't think it's necessary. I think the only thing that you have to do is really tie these 2 back legs together and pull it tightly. As you go around this, make a loop around that side, make a loop around this side, and you've got these 2 ends, like so, and then you go around once, and this is just called a simple butcher's knot, and then you go around twice. Going around twice is going to be so that you can tighten it super nice and tight, and it's not going to slip on you. We're not going to throw this in the oven yet. Part of the magic of the dry brine is to let it sit on there for a little while before you actually bake it. What that's going to do is it's going to allow the seasoning and the salt and the sugar to penetrate the meat. And what you're going to end up with is not only seasoned skin, but also seasoned meat.
Sure.
So that's what we're going to do here is we're going to move this onto the rack, and then we're going to have you, Mike, walk it over to the fridge, and it's going to sit in there for about... Yes.
Okay, so we're walking this over to the fridge. How long is this in the fridge for?
This is going to be in the fridge for either 2 to 6 hours. I wouldn't leave it less than 2, just because you're not going to get the effect of the dry brine, but I wouldn't do more than 6, because it is possible for that meat to get in there, for the salt to get in the meat, and actually start curing the meat, which is when you're pulling out moisture from the meat, and it's going to just make it too salty.
Is there a point where it looks like it's ready to be out of the fridge?
So what I would say is that you can sometimes see that the skin will tighten up a little bit more. And with the skin tightening up, I mean, that's something you can look for. But I would just say you're safe. Like the butter zone is 4 hours. Like if you leave it in there for 4 hours, it's going to be well seasoned.
We're in the chef's cooler.
Come on in.
I don't have access to this spot. This is exciting.
This is our chicken shelf. You can go ahead and put that on there.
The chicken shelf at Open Arms in Minnesota.
So one thing I will also say, sometimes the tendency, oh, we're putting it in the fridge, let's put a cover on it. Don't cover this. Leave it uncovered.
Leave it uncovered?
Yes, leave it uncovered.
Okay.
That's going to allow the moisture to come out of it, which is kind of what you want. And it's not going to get, it's going to make it so that the skin isn't soggy when you bake it. Because moisture equals soggy skin.
Kevin?
Yes.
Let's say goodbye to our chicken.
Bye, chicken.
Bye, chicken. We'll see you in 4 hours. And you're teaching me how to make a chimichurri sauce, Kevin.
Yes, and this is I will mention right off the bat, this is kind of a non-traditional chimichurri.
Oh, how so?
Well, a chimichurri is generally coarser chopped. We're going to use a blender for this.
Okay.
I almost sometimes call this a salsa verde.
Okay, so what am I doing?
Okay, so first things first, we've got a mixture of herbs here. We've got mint, cilantro, green onion, oregano, and parsley. Okay, so we're going to just take all of these.
The whole thing?
With the exception of this oregano here. We're going to pick the leaves off the oregano. These pieces here.
This I have to do work?
Yes, we're going to pick the leaves off.
I have to eat one by one?
So here, let me show
you.
Am
I going to be here till like 11:30 p.m.?
Let me grab some cloth.
Oh gosh. This is don't do this at home. There has to be an easier way to do this.
We're doing one at a time. All you got to do is take it. It's all pointing upwards like that. Put your finger on the top, not quite all the way to the top because it'll rip.
Yeah.
And then gently, without ripping the stem, pull it down, and then this top piece you can pull. Okay.
Like, oh shoot.
See, you're all right. You're all right.
Too hard. Oh shoot.
See, there you go.
This is why you volunteer here, folks. OpenArmsMN.org.
If you like spice, one thing that you can also do, which makes it even more like a salsa verde, is you can chop up a jalapeno and put it in there, and that will add a little bit of spice in it.
Tell me why you decided to work here as a chef at Open Arms.
Well, I had been cooking in restaurants, and I was a line cook at a number of different places. And frankly, there are a lot of great things about being a line cook. It's exciting, it's fun work, but I want to just go somewhere where I could actually like use what I can give to the world cooking. In a way that helps people. When you go to restaurants, people are paying for the food. It's kind of more of a luxury in a lot of ways. But I wanted to be able to do it for people who really, really needed it. And I love the message of like food as medicine and food as part of people's treatment. I thought that was pretty cutting edge from what I knew about food, and I just wanted to be a part of it.
Great. Yeah. How long have you been here now?
Oh gosh. 3 years, I think. 3 years. Yeah, 2 years in various places. 3 years. Oh,
the boss is in the corner over here.
I've been here for 3 years. Yep.
3 reviews.
Yeah, exactly. I just blocked those out. So
Alright, so we got the salt in the chimichurri sauce. It's in the Vitamix.
Yep.
Do we need new Vitamix here, Chef Blake? Someone needs to donate a Vitamix.
That would be. I mean, yeah, we use blenders all the time, and we need another.
We need a new Vitamix if you're listening and watching this luncheon.
Okay, so we got the top on there. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. Hang on. It could be a little bit thicker, but you know what? I'm okay with this because when you throw it in the fridge, it'll thicken up a little bit. That's olive oil, and olive oil kind of thickens up a little bit. So
we're gonna make new T-shirts that say "Cameraman Kyle." Guy called another.
Yes, you gotta get him in there.
Sure. All right, so chicken's been in the oven for about an hour and a half.
Yep.
And we've been letting it sit now for about 15 minutes or so.
Right, we let the meat rest. That's really important with really any meat after you cook it, especially larger pieces of meat, roasts, chickens, those sorts of things, steaks.
Why is that important?
Well, because when you cook meat, if you think about like a raw piece of meat, it's floppy, it's kind of soft. As you cook it, the muscle fibers and the proteins firm up, and when that happens, they kind of shrink as well. And when they shrink, they push the moisture out of it. So if you take your piece of meat that you've cooked to, in this case, 165 degrees, out of the oven and cut it at that temperature, all of the water that it pushed out when it's at that temperature is still out of the meat. It's within there, but it's out of the muscle protein.
Sure.
So if you let it cool down, so to say something like 130 degrees, which is probably where this is at right now, that meat or that juice has time to redistribute into those muscle fibers, and then you're not going to lose all of that juice when you cut it. I'll use a boning knife. First things first, we're going to take off the truss, which is the piece of string that we put on there earlier. Make sure to get that off there because it's not edible, and you don't want non-edible things in food. And then what you do is you just run your knife down like so. And then so we've got this, the skin separated from the body. And then all you have to do is pull that off.
That's simple.
Yeah, it's very, very easy. And what that does is it pulls the, essentially the thigh bone out of the hip socket. And then what we're going to do with these pieces is we're going to take you got the thigh right here and the leg. We're going to run the knife through just like that. Like that. It helps to have a nice sharp knife. So you got all your dark meat right there, or most of your dark meat right there. And then with the bone, or with the breast, I like to use a larger knife for it. It's just going to serve you better. And be really careful. Feel for the breastplate, which is going to be right down the middle.
So a dry brined roasted chicken with the chimichurri sauce.
Chimichurri.
Chef Kevin, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun.
You did a great job.